Most people run from silence. They fill every second with noise, validation, distraction. Anything to avoid being alone with themselves. But what if I told you that the very thing you've been avoiding is the raw material of elite performance? In the next few minutes, you'll discover how to turn solitude into a tactical weapon, how to reframe isolation as cognitive fuel, and how the 25 Hertz protocol can sharpen your focus into something almost surgical. Stay until the end, because this isn't about motivation, it's about recalibration. And once you hear this, you won't look at loneliness the same way again. Chapter I: The weaponization of isolation. Most people are terrified of silence. The moment noise disappears, they panic. They reach for the phone, open another app, seek distraction, opinion, stimulation, anything that confirms they still exist in the social system. Modern society has trained people to confuse attention with value, and that addiction is weakening them. Look around. Most people cannot sit alone for 10 minutes without discomfort. Not because they are busy, but because solitude exposes internal conflict they avoid facing. They would rather drown in noise than confront themselves. But high performers understand something different. Isolation is not punishment, it is calibration. The strongest minds were not built in crowds, they were forged in silence, in empty rooms, in early mornings nobody saw, in nights where discipline had no audience. That is where psychological structure is built. When external validation disappears, one question remains: who are you without witnesses? Weak minds avoid this question, disciplined minds use it as fuel. Solitude is no longer emotional emptiness. It becomes a tactical environment. We are weaponizing isolation. Because loneliness generates psychological energy. Most people waste it through distraction, entertainment, or dependency. But redirected correctly, it becomes focus, execution, and clarity. The tension becomes acceleration. Silence becomes structure. And the mind shifts operating mode. This is where the 25 Hertz protocol begins. Not entertainment, not relaxation, but cognitive synchronization. 25 Hertz stabilizes internal rhythm, reducing distraction and increasing focus density. The mind stops reacting emotionally and starts operating precisely. Most people use sound to escape reality. Here, frequency is used to refining. At first, solitude triggers resistance, restlessness, mental noise, urge for stimulation. That discomfort is not failure. It is withdrawal from dependency. Dependency on noise, on validation, on constant input. When the nervous system survives this phase, a new state emerges: clarity. Thoughts become audible again, not cultural programming, not social media residue, actual cognition. And that is where transformation begins. Clarity creates power. A distracted mind is programmable, a focused mind becomes unpredictable. This is why systems built on distraction fear solitude. A person who can sit alone without collapse becomes harder to control. They do not need constant approval. They do not break under rejection. They do not panic in isolation, because isolation becomes training. While others chase connection, you build internal stability through disciplined separation. Hours others waste become your advantage. While the world consumes stimulation, you sharpen cognition. While they negotiate with discomfort, you adapt. This is not self-help. This is psychological conditioning against weakness. The modern system rewards dependency because dependent minds are predictable. Solitude removes predictability. When you realize you can think alone, build alone, and endure alone, fear loses leverage. That is freedom. Not comfort, not approval, freedom. And freedom creates strategic aggression. The ability to act without hesitation, move without validation, stay stable while others collapse under pressure. This cannot be learned from motivation. It must be built through silence, through repetition, through confrontation with self. That is why disciplined individuals stop avoiding isolation. They use it. Every silent hour becomes cognitive training. Every empty night becomes refinement. Every moment alone becomes construction. Eventually, something locks in permanently. You no longer fear solitude. You protect it because you understand. It is not emptiness. It is infrastructure for mental dominance. Chapter 2. The 25 Hertz Protocol for Cognitive Sharpening. The average mind is under constant attack. Notifications, conversations, opinions, artificial urgency. Endless stimulation breaking attention into fragments until sustained focus collapses. And most people don't notice because distraction is normal. Mental exhaustion is treated as status, overwhelm is mistaken for ambition. Burnout is framed as proof of effort. But overload is not strength, it is fragmentation. And a fragmented mind cannot dominate anything. It reacts instead of executes, consumes instead of creates, escapes instead of builds. That is why solitude is no longer optional for elite performance. It is required, because isolation removes interference. And when noise disappears, the nervous system becomes rebuildable. This is where the 25 Hertz protocol becomes a weapon. Not relaxation, not background sound, a deliberately engineered cognitive state for focus stabilization. At 25 Hertz, the brain enters a narrow band between calm and readiness. Focus stable, non-emotional. The frequency acts as a bridge between chaos and execution. And the first thing it exposes is resistance. The moment silence begins, the nervous system demands escape. Check the phone, open a tab, seek dopamine, break stillness. Because the modern brain is conditioned to fear it. Stillness forces confrontation, and confrontation reveals what distraction hides. Unfinished thoughts, suppressed tension, lack of discipline, noise you've avoided for years. Most people escape here. They return to stimulation because silence feels too direct. But the disciplined individual stays, and that decision rewires the system. Because every minute without escape builds control. Every second becomes focused training. This is conditioning, not motivation. And the brain adapts, discomfort fades, static drops, attention stabilizes. Then something shifts, thinking sharpens, not emotional, strategic. You stop operating from mood and start operating from clarity. And clarity is dangerous in a distracted world, because most people cannot sustain deep thought long enough for high-level output. Their cognition fractures constantly. They rely on noise, scrolling, conversation, anything to avoid mental effort. But inside disciplined solitude, supported by intentional frequency alignment, depth of focus returns. Hours feel lighter. Execution becomes smoother, decisions become cleaner. Fatigue drops because attention is no longer leaking everywhere. You become dangerous not by thinking more, but by thinking without fragmentation. This is what most misunderstand about high performers. It is not motivation. It is attention control. Elite individuals protect focus with precision, because focus is power, and solitude is where it is trained into dominance. Silence reveals what noise hides. Emotion triggers surface faster. Distractions are caught earlier. Weakness becomes visible without denial. Awareness without panic creates self-command. That is rare. Most people are ruled by impulses they don't even notice. They call it personality, but it is conditioning. The disciplined mind interrupts it, especially in isolation. This is why solitude transforms people when used correctly. Instead of asking, why am I alone? The question becomes, what can solitude build that society cannot? That shift changes everything. Isolation becomes structure. The empty room becomes training space. Silence becomes refinement. Frequency becomes alignment between intention and execution. And gradually, your relationship with discomfort changes. You stop waiting to feel ready. You stop seeking motivation. You stop negotiating with resistance. You execute anyway, because solitude teaches a simple truth. Discipline overrides emotion. Emotion fluctuates, discipline holds. Emotion reacts, discipline decides. Emotion seeks comfort, discipline seeks transformation. That is why high performers appear detached from chaos, not because they lack emotion, but because emotion no longer leads. That control is built in silence, repeatedly, until focus becomes identity. This is the function of the 25 Hertz protocol. Not just concentration, but reconstruction of mental authority. Taking control back from distraction, dependency, validation, stimulation. And when control returns, perception changes permanently. Your mind belongs to you again. Not algorithms, not trends, not noise. You gain the ability to enter deep focus on command. And in a world drowning in distraction, that becomes an edge. While others scatter under pressure, you narrow attention. While they seek comfort, you seek precision. While they panic in silence, you weaponize it. And loneliness stops feeling like absence. It starts feeling like preparation. Chapter 3. Absolute mental dominance. There comes a moment in disciplined solitude where something irreversible happens. The mind hardens. Not emotionally cold, not disconnected from humanity, but immune to dependency. And that changes a person forever. Because once you stop needing constant validation, you become dangerous to mediocrity. The modern world runs on emotional dependence. It teaches people to seek approval before action, confidence, even identity. People stop asking what they believe. They ask the crowd. And crowds are unstable. They panic, hesitate, follow trends. Independent thinking requires courage. Solitude trains something rare: internal authority. The ability to stand alone with your thoughts without collapsing inward. That is real power. Not status, not popularity, not attention. Power is clarity while others lose control. And that clarity is forged in silence. Every isolated hour becomes resistance training for the mind. Every uncomfortable moment becomes adaptation. Every battle with distraction becomes reinforcement of control. Eventually, the nervous system stops craving escape. Silence is no longer empty. It becomes operational. You sit alone, and instead of anxiety, your system enters readiness. Focus sharpens, breathing stabilizes, thoughts align. The 25 Hertz synchronization becomes more than sound. It becomes an activation cue for execution and clarity. The brain learns. This is where hesitation ends. And identity begins to shift. You stop being someone trying to improve. You become someone built for performance. That difference is critical. Motivation creates inconsistency. Identity creates inevitability. When discipline becomes identity, execution no longer depends on emotion. You act regardless, build regardless, move regardless. Most people never cross that threshold. They wait for emotional permission, but feelings are unreliable. The mission is not. Solitude reveals this faster than anything else. No audience, no applause, no performance, just you. Your habits, your standards, your excuses. That confrontation produces two outcomes. Most break, a few evolve. Those who evolve realize something simple. Loneliness was never the enemy, dependency was. Fear of being alone comes from never building a relationship with your own mind. Once solitude becomes familiar, fear weakens elsewhere too. Rejection loses power. Silence becomes strength. Isolation becomes advantage. Psychological resilience forms quietly. You become calm under pressure because your mind has already faced internal chaos.
You become decisive because mental noise is reduced. You become steady because discipline replaces volatility. This is the purpose of solitude, not escape, preparation. You return stronger, sharper, more focused. You enter chaos without absorbing it. You maintain internal order while others fragment. People notice it immediately, not because you are louder, but because you are centered, controlled, certain. That certainty disrupts distracted minds. Most people are internally divided. Comfort, growth, distraction, discipline, solitude resolves that conflict. Energy moves in one direction, forward, and unified direction is difficult to stop. The future belongs to those who can concentrate deeply and self-regulate emotionally. Not the loudest, not the most connected, the most disciplined. Those who can remain focused while the world fractures into distraction. Those who think clearly without reassurance. Those who can sit alone without collapse. That is mental sovereignty, ownership over attention, emotion, and execution. Once you have it, external chaos loses influence. You stop reacting to the world. You begin shaping. That is the transformation. Silence becomes training, isolation becomes strategy. And the person who once feared solitude becomes forged by it. Operating without applause, building without recognition, executing without hesitation. Not because life is easier, but because solitude made them unbreakable.
Chapter 5. Integration, summary, and the call to dominate. When you strip everything back, remove the rhetoric, remove the intensity, remove the language of war and dominance, what remains is brutally simple. Most people are losing the battle for their own mind, not because they are weak, but because they are never alone with themselves long enough to become strong. That is the foundation of everything that has been said so far. And now we integrate it. In Chapter 1, we establish the provocation. Solitude is not a defect, it is a dormant system of power. Isolation is not punishment, it is recalibration. We dismantled the illusion that external validation is necessary for identity and replaced it with a harder truth. When no one is watching, real training begins. That is where discipline either exists or disappears. In Chapter 2, we evolved that idea into structure. We introduced the 25 Hertz protocol, not as entertainment, but as a cognitive environment designed to reinforce focus. We exposed the nervous system's dependency on constant stimulation. We showed that discomfort in silence is not failure, but withdrawal from distraction. And we defined a process where solitude becomes cognitive sharpening instead of emotional collapse. The key shift was this. Attention is not passive, attention is a weapon, and most people are constantly leaking it. In Chapter 3, we escalated the framework into identity transformation. We moved from behavior to being. Solitude stopped being a practice and became a state of mind. Discipline stopped being an action and became identity. Internal authority replaced external approval. We defined mental sovereignty, the ability to remain stable, focused, and decisive without external emotional reinforcement. That is the point where a human stops reacting to life and starts directing it. Now we bring everything together. The discipline of solitude is not about isolation for its own sake. It is about constructing a mind that cannot be destabilized by the absence of noise. Let's be precise about what this system actually builds. First, cognitive control. You reclaim attention from distraction. You learn to sustain thought without fragmentation. Your mind stops scattering energy across meaningless inputs. Second, emotional independence. You stop requiring external validation. To act, fear of rejection loses authority. Emotional volatility no longer dictates decisions. Third, tactical
neurological focus. Through repeated exposure to silence and 25 Hz synchronization, the brain learns to enter deep execution states faster and stay there longer. Fourth, psychological resilience. You develop tolerance for discomfort, not avoidance of it. This removes hesitation from decision-making. Fifth, identity stabilization. You stop being someone who tries to be disciplined. You become someone for whom discipline is the default operating system. That is the transformation arc. And now comes the final truth. The world does not reward potential. It rewards execution under pressure. And execution under pressure is not built in crowds. It is built in silence. So here is the question that matters more than anything else. Can you remain alone without internally collapsing? Can you sit in silence without reaching for escape? Can you face your own mind without distraction? Because if you cannot, then no strategy, no motivation, no external system will ever stabilize your performance. But if you can, if you learn to turn solitude into structure, if you train your attention instead of wasting it, if you master the transition from discomfort to focus, then you unlock something rare in the modern world. Consistency without external force. And that is where dominance begins. Not in moments of hype, not in bursts of motivation, but in quiet repetition when no one is watching. So this is the call to action. Stop treating solitude as absence. Start treating it as a training ground. Stop escaping silence. Start using it to recalibrate the mind. And when you enter those moments alone, remember, you are not waiting for motivation. You are building neurological control. You are strengthening attention. You are stabilizing identity. You are turning isolation into an advantage most people will never understand. Because while the world is busy trying to be seen, you are learning how to become undeniable. And that is the final stage of the discipline of solitude. Not being alone, but becoming unshakable within it.